I just put crippled little one out. I don't know how he's going to fare. I couldn't get the pipes to work on his feet. I've got them on, but then as soon as he moved they just fell off. So I should have done it when he was first hatched. Once he had dried off a little bit when I put him in the box, I should have then tried to get the pipes on his feet then. When he was restricted and couldn't move too much, he was leaping up and laying down, leaping up and laying down, looking at the other poor little one in the big box, because that was laying by him, so he was looking at that one, thinking about trying to get out. But he wasn't going any, he wasn't moving around as such, he was just standing up and laying down, standing up and laying down, so that would have straightened his ankles up, because the pipes would have kept his toes straight, so that would automatically would have kept his little ankles straight, because it's his little ankles that are naff as well. But he's getting around okay, he's eating okay. He's better off out here with Mum, even though it's so goddamn hot. I don't know how anybody's living. And he'll either improve or he'll die. All I know is I'm not gassing him. I can't gas him. I say he's quite content, he's eating okay. If he had a problem, if he was unhappy, he wouldn't be eating. If he was in pain, he wouldn't be eating. But he's eating, so, and he went straight over there when Mum whinged, so there's no flies on him. So nature can take its course, I'm afraid. He can get about, just. That's what he needs to do. So, let's see. I've got 2 fans going in here on full power. And it's 46 degrees in these stables. You move and you're standing in a lake of sweat. These need passing out, but now I put the fan up there a lot better. So they had a big one going yesterday, but I couldn't find the others, but now I found the others. Now, poor old broken shoulder, you wonder why I've got a terrapin dish in there, which not actually, it's a dish for a cage. That's why. Poor old broken shoulder, she can only open one wing. She can't open the other wing to cool down and air. She was going absolutely ballistic in here, and she was trying to scrape water out of the drinker. As you can see, it's all wet around the floor. And I thought, she wants to cool down, she wants a bath, she wants to be able to stand in cold water and bring down her body temperature. So when I was cleaning that out, giving it a rinse out, outside, she heard the tap going. She was going absolutely ballistic. She was making a noise I've never heard before. Somebody should have been in there with a video camera. But she was making a most peculiar noise of it was almost panic, but not panic. A weird noise. I've never heard the noise before. And as I appeared here at the grill, the door, the wire, she was trying to jump over the wire. Of course, she can't fly. She can only open one wing. But she was trying to get to the bowl. She instinctively seemed to know what I was doing. Ridiculous. I don't know how she knew what I was doing, but she heard the bowl, she heard the tap, and went ballistic. Absolutely mad. As soon as she saw me appear with it, she's in the way, trying to get through the wire, trying to jump up on the wire. I couldn't get in. I had to lift the wire up with me foot and one finger, holding the trough thing there. Put a rock in it, as you can see, and a rock outside so the babes could get in. She stood on the edge, looked at it, jumped in. And the look on her face, I have never seen such a look of absolute relief on an animal's face. If she had been human, it would have been, oh, thank God for that. And she was completely motionless. She's just standing there with her feet in the cold water. Absolute ecstasy. She was an absolute ecstasy. Absolutely incredible. I've never seen anything like it in my life. The same, nobody was here with a video camera. And she stayed in there. And she was calling her babies, and her babies were coming up and look, they were jumping on the rock, and then they were jumping off again. She knew her babies weren't going to come in, so what does she do? She starts kicking the water out, and they're all round there, where it's all wet, they're all pecking at the water, and the more they peck, the more she kicked, so she was spraying them with cold water, as well as making the floor wet, which they were standing in, to cool them down. And she jumps in and out of that every few minutes. She's going to go in there again, I think. Yeah, it's a cool note. There's some more water in there, old girl. I didn't want to put too much water in there in case, all the babies went bowling in and got wet and drowned. I think they're big enough now to be able to, certainly be able to get out on the rocks, but there she goes. Scrape it out, get the babies wet, have a drink. I'll put some more water in there for you, I'll go in a minute. But no, it almost made me cry seeing the look on her face of absolute relief, total relief. As I say, it's 46 degrees in here. Ridiculous. It's 41 outside, 46 in here. These are all desperate, flaked around everywhere. And I'm about to make her, although that fan is lovely and they should be able to appreciate some of the drafts, I've got to make her use that and my wire for these. She's dying, and I've only got one dish like that. I haven't got another dish that I could put water in so she can cool down, but they're all hanging around the water too. I'm going to try and get you some air, old girl. She's absolutely, poor old broke the shoulders just like that, absolutely desperate, didn't know what to do with herself. She's plucked all her feathers out of her back because she's so hot. And although the window isn't a good idea because the sun comes in to a degree, it's only the light, it sort of does get reflected off a little bit, but then of course we've got to have a draft. Got to have movement. So, what to do? And Ginge has decided she's not going to be broody anymore. So I've got 16 eggs in the incubator that are all starting to grow, and I don't know what to do with them now. So I'm going to put her back outside with the outdoors. We'll see if she goes broody again. If she does, I'll shut her in the shed next door to the little black bear net with her 13 chicks. She may be too hot. I think that's what happened to her chicks. I don't think it was anything to do with her or anything to do with anything else. I think they cooked. The turkeys will elevate themselves so the eggs don't overheat and so they can cool down. She didn't. Not once did she elevate, so she was behind wood at an angle. I should have just taken the wood down and put it across, across the nest, so she felt secure and protected. But it was open. I mean, it was over like a wigwam, like a tent, and because she never left the nest for long during the day, and she never elevated herself when it did get hot in here, although it wasn't anywhere near as hot as it is now. I think the eggs literally cooked. I think the babies cooked. They just died, and the ones that survived obviously were the ones that were either on the outside edges or at the back, which weren't in the full force of her body heat and got a little bit more air, cooler air maybe. And as far as little cripple feet is concerned, I don't know if his feet are mangled like that because of a deformity and that's why he couldn't hatch, because his feet are mangled, or if his feet are mangled like that because she left the nest too often for too long when he was trying to hatch, so he dried out. As he was completely bone dry. He was totally incarcerated, super glued to the membrane in his shell. And once they dry out like that, they can't turn to get out. And they struggle to try and turn. Of course, their feet stay in that position, and literally they get set like that. So I don't know, and I never will know why his feet are mangled like that. But I don't think they're ever going to straighten up now. As I say, he'll either live or die. She's accepted him back, which is good. She doesn't know who the hell he is, but she's accepted him. She's accepted the other one back, who she does know, but she hasn't seen for a long time. That's going to be a problem with these holes in these mats. He's not going to be able to get in and out of them very easily. See if he can get out of that one. You stand there, you're going to get trodden on by your mother, or scraped, one or the other. So if I was you, I'd move, little person. Perhaps I should take the feeder away from there, actually, and put it more in the middle, so he doesn't end up going down a damn great ditch. Oh no, you've got out of it. Alright, that's okay. Okay, fair enough. Kick this nut over. Alright, old girl. Give it a kick. A bit. Yeah, a bit. Alright, old love. Until he gets around, okay. There we are. That's better. You got water? Yeah. So, now to make poor old No Tail a grill so she can appreciate the draft from the fan. It is quite a good draft. It's a warm draft, but at least the air's moving. So obviously it's cooling. Right, put this down and get on with it. Well, as you can see, little old Twisted Feet is back in the box, but I persevered with him yesterday afternoon. Looked up on YouTube what I could do for his feet and incorporated my thing with the tubes, and as I didn't have any sensible elastoplast type stuff, I've used a tape, a breathable tape. I split the tubes so his feet didn't swell up too much, so there's some form of ventilation going on there. But it took about, I suppose altogether, 4 hours to get the tubes on his feet and to get them to stay there, and because they were so twisted and so bent round, and that tape is very sticky, you look at it and it sticks to you, and it sticks to everything you don't want it to stick to. So the poor little thing sat very quietly in either mine or my daughter's hands, whilst either me or her administered, or he was in my hands and I was sticking and she was unsticking me from the damn tape. But eventually we've got both feet done. He was in the box on his own last night, but I stayed in the kitchen all night with him, just in case, because he was having the odd moment where he'd throw himself about and have a fit. Not because of his feet, because he was starving. It was malnutrition, and the chemicals in the brain were reacting to the fact that he was starving. So I was giving him sterilised egg yolk liquid every hour on the hour to keep him going until I could get one of his nestmates in with him. And that one came in with him, I suppose, about 3 hours ago. 2-3 hours ago. He's a lot happier, he's a lot more content, because he was really miserable, really miserable. He was, as I say, not eating, not drinking, just moping around, sleeping, having fits. No, he was going to die. I was a bit concerned that if I brought one in it might pick on him and peck his feet, but that one doesn't seem to bother. He's not bothered at all by his feet. And as you can see, he's got a reasonably full crop, because that one was hungry. I brought that one in before it had a chance to fill up with breakfast with Mum. So I've put some boiled egg in the mash there, because that little thing hasn't had any egg to kickstart him, other than the liquid I was giving him last night, which kept him going long enough. But now he's eating fine. He's got a full crop. He's a different little guinea. And about 3 o'clock this afternoon I shall attempt to get that off his feet. The good thing, it's only stuck on literally on the top of his foot there, or his ankle, because once you remove it from there, the pipes just fall off his feet. That's why it took so long, because every time you breathe the pipes just knocked off his feet, because they're so twisted and so bent. And I've never had to deal with such tiny little feet in my life. Normally when I have twisted feet, I stick them in the small box with the sticky flooring that I've got there, and usually within 5-6 hours their toes are straight. I've never had one with such twisted, crippled feet, and I've never had one so small to have to deal with the feet. I've had splayed legs with many a guinea, and with a few chicks. That's very simply solved, hobbling them. Or again in the inner box for 12-24 hours where they can't move, so the legs stay underneath them, and as they dry out they straighten up, and not a problem. 1 or 2 have not improved, even with being hobbled after drying out in the box. Rudy, would you shut up? Look at my little Prinny, look how big she's got. She's a pretty girl. Yeah, she's a pretty girl. And you're just a show-off, Rudes. Look, you've got all your food on the floor. Absolutely slovenly, aren't you? You think you're all that? Yes, you do. You think you're all that. Anyway, back to the Guinness. I don't know where I was now. So I'll be... Oh, yes, a couple of Guineas who had splayed legs, splayed hips, that were in the box for 24 hours. then hobbled after that and remained on a sticky floor or grippy floor for 3 or 4 days, in up to a week. And once you put them on a less sticky surface, their legs splay out again. So obviously they weren't going to get better, and of course eventually they die. They grow, they do fine, they eat, they drink, but it only needs one of their one of their incubator mates, their hatch mates, to pull on a toe, and that's a busted hip, dislocated hip. And I have had to gas a few that have got to about 3-4 weeks old, but legs sort of, one leg in front and the other leg out behind, toes pointing up, or the ball of the foot, bottom of the foot pointing up to the sky. So no good. Don't pick his eye or his beak, that's not nice. Eat your dinner instead. So when I take the dreadful sticky stuff off, if I can, I think I'll have to soak his feet in water, warm water, to ease the operation first. Then take the straps off, the boots off, shoes off, brace off, splints off, whatever you want to call it. My modification of a couple of ideas, my own and good old YouTube's. We'll come back and see if he's straightened up or not. I really hope he has. And there he is, not 18 hours after the tubing and tape went on his feet, perfectly straight toes. Unbelievable. He was 3 days old too, and normally if you don't do it within the... Don't pick his eye in the first day of life, once they've dried out and fluffed up, so I suppose they'll be 2 days old when you actually get around to doing it. It said that it doesn't work. The only toes that are still not right are his tiny little toes at the back, balance ones, they're too tiny to do anything with, so they'll either straighten up in time or they won't, but that certainly won't bother him at all. He's very happy to be able to walk now. When I took the strapping off his feet, he sort of looked down at his toes and said, "What on earth is that?" Are they my feet? And when I put him back in the box, he didn't seem to know how to walk. He was sort of lifting his legs right up as if he still had the paddles on, but as you can see, every toe is perfectly straight, exactly as it should be, except for the back ones. The one on his left leg isn't too bad, the one on his right sort of curls right round to the inside, but he's absolutely fine. So I'll keep him in the box until the first thing tomorrow morning with brother or sister there, and then I'll pop him back out with mum, because I don't want to go out in this heat. The transition will be just too much. But look at the size of his feet, his toes compared to the other one's toes. Virtually impossible to deal with. Minute. But they're straight. He can stand, he can walk, he can run. I am so elated. I really am elated. So, brilliant. Perfect ending. Let's just hope he survives and makes older bones. Brilliant.